Hey Salem, you see my car keys? I've got to drive to work.
Who needs to drive to work when you can run around a peaceful village where you already own a house?
Well, owning a house at my age would be nice, but that's not reality. Until I make it big, I've got to work as much as possible.
You're taking today off. I've hidden your car keys until you spend some quality time with animal friends. Ho ho!
What? You hit my... Is this because I've never reviewed an Animal Crossing game?
Duh! I know you don't see the point of sim games, but as a Nintendo reviewer, you owe it to your fans to give this franchise a chance. Kitty cat!
Alright. If only to get my keys back, I will dive into this new world. Well, new to me. This is Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube. Salem's right, I usually don't play sim games. It's because my way of thinking with video games is, why play a video game of something I can easily do in real life? I could play soccer with friends in the park, same thing with football. But when you add a team of penguins, or setting the ball on fire and enclosing the field with an electric fence, well now you're talking! But those are at least sports games. A friend of mine described these games as,
it's like The Sims, except with animals.
Which doesn't help me since I don't play games where you live day-to-day life. That's basically what this game is. It's day-to-day life in a village where you work for money, collect stuff for your house, and chat with animals. But there's gotta be more to why people like these games besides cute animal friends. What is it besides my terrible description that makes this simulation game so addicting that it's received sequels and spin-offs to carry it from this 2001 original up to its most recent Switch game released in 2020? Time I get a life in this world and find my answers. Well, for a game released in the early days of the GameCube, it has pretty appealing visuals. Of course, that should come as no surprise since it's a first-party Nintendo game. Every character has amusing, cartoony expressions to fit their moods at any given time. Sometimes it made me feel bad for the ones who needed help. Some objects like bugs and fish are little more than 16-bit sprites, but the rest of the world is presented in a semi-top-down 3D environment that has dynamic weather. Not quite as dynamic as in it'll change a few minutes later, more like one day it's sunny and clear, the next day it's overcast and rainy. For sound, this game has a mix of simple, charming beats that represent a carefree lifestyle, but the music does have changes to fit different times of day and special events. Sound effects are about the same in that family-friendly, not too over-the-top cartoony way. But I'm not sure how I feel about the voices. Since there's no voice acting in Animal Crossing, the text dialogue is made audible by something called Animalese. Most of it just sounds like Charlie Brown adults going blah 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 blah. But if you listen close enough, some of it actually sounds like the words in the text, just sped up and with a chipmunk filter. Plenty of times I found the sounds kind of annoying, but I do see the charm of the NPCs talking this way. It's kind of like how the cast of Banjo-Kazooie talk, just with more nose and head voices. When you start the game, you choose your name, gender, and a house for you to live in, which means paying off a mortgage to this guy, Tom Nook, who of course also owns the main grocery store in the village. The main objective is to pay off your debt to this raccoon, which actually rewards you with a bigger house, which he charges you a new mortgage for.
Go!
I mean, it's still cheaper than buying a house in the real world. To make money for paying off your debt, as well as buying useful tools, clothes, decor, and furniture, you have a number of things to find that you can sell to Mr. Nook. You can use a net to catch different species of bugs, you can go fishing, you can dig for buried bags of money, or you can chop down trees. Some of which apparently have bags of money hidden in their leaves. Alright, money does grow on trees in this world. Well then, timber! Oh god! Bees! Run, man, run! Ooh. I don't suppose Tom Nook sells meds for that? Well, it turns out he does sell different things, but they only appear on different days. Which brings me to a key component of this game. Things in the world change from day to day. As time advances in the real world, it moves in Animal Crossing at the same rate, even if you go days, weeks, or even months without playing. The world actually changes over time to reflect the changes of the seasons. In April, cherry blossoms bloom in the trees. In October, the leaves turn into that combo of red, orange, yellow, and brown that people like me love. And in December, the village is covered in that frozen white powder. This also means anything you planted in the ground earlier will grow over time into a tree that bears fruit for you to keep to yourself. I was also surprised to see that your animal friends in the village also know how much time goes by in between days that you play. Like if you go a good 3 months without playing, they'll actually be worried or angry with you thinking that you moved away or just started ignoring them for no reason. They want you around so badly. Now it's good to chat with your animal friends because sometimes they have small jobs for you to do that reward you with money or stuff for your house. But even if they don't have a job, they're kinda entertaining to just socialize with. Hear what they're doing for the different seasons and special events that occur in the village on different days. Events like fishing tournaments that you too can participate in. But I was more fascinated by the holiday events. You won't find any monsters to fight or complex puzzles to solve, but you will see how the village celebrates major holidays. Fireworks on the 4th of July, trees covered in Christmas lights during the Yuletide season, and citizens dressing up as jack-o'-lanterns and hounding you for candy on Halloween. You guys know I appreciate any game that gets into the Halloween spirit, even if it's in a family-friendly way. Sorry, buddy, I'm out of candy. Hey! You just ruined my costume for that?!
Well, you know what? Fine. I'll reset my game, change the clock back to the day before Halloween, and buy some more candy to be prepared. You can't stop the power of the reset button!
Wait, who's this? You mean this game from 2001 actually knows when I push the restart button on my GameCube and then berates me for it when I return to the game? I don't think I realized just how capable the GameCube was until I played this and saw this gopher yell at me for hitting restart without saving first. Welcome to the birth of Skynet, ladies and gentlemen.
My CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
Now I got to see all of this in a relatively short amount of time by frequently changing the in-game clock to different dates and times, which you could do in this original game regardless of what your GameCube or Wii clock is set to. So I saw the better part of a full year in about a month. But you know what didn't happen in all that time? Tom Nook didn't hound me about making regular mortgage payments. I was allowed to pay it all off on my own time with the activities I already covered. And when I got the first expansion, I used different job prizes and purchased furniture to decorate my house and make it more homey. You can also donate some animals and fossils to the village museum, which feels like its own goal in a way. You're doing a more charitable thing to give this museum things to display that represent your village. Why would you care about doing any of this? Well, the only reason I can think of is the game's real primary objective. It's not just making money to pay off a house and make it bigger. It's not about stopping some powerful evil. It's just to live a peaceful existence with less stress than the real world. There's always enough to eat, the other residents get along with you work when you want to work. It's kind of like a nice balance between the structured human society and the more connected to nature, almost stress-free existence of animals. For adults, it's a game you play to live a peaceful life for a few minutes or a few hours. For kids, it's a way to prepare you for some of the realities of real adult life with socializing and working off a mortgage and buying your own stuff, but in an easy-to-digest way. I can definitely see the blueprint of the sequels and spin-offs that would include online multiplayer, and I'm actually excited to see for myself how online multiplayer helps this franchise evolve as a peaceful life simulator. You know, after playing this game, I think I'm starting to understand the appeal. As far as recommending this game though, that's still difficult for me to do, but mostly because used copies are now going for anywhere between $50 and $75. That's rather steep considering there are newer games in the series out there that go for the same price or lower prices. In fact, I'll soon be looking at Animal Crossing City Folk on the Wii, which tends to be a good $20 cheaper. In the meantime, that's my review of the original Animal Crossing for the GameCube. To help me produce more videos like this, please support my Patreon page. Special thanks to my current patrons here. Remember that supporting my Patreon gets the name of the credits and access to my main videos a day early. Also be sure to watch my previous reviews of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania for the Switch and the Just Dance series. See you all next time!